Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. It was done using Loren Sherman's script, which uses a combination of dots and lines on these 4 different stems to make our consonants. And vowels are quite a bit trickier. They're smaller circles, and they have different positions depending upon what vowel they are and if they're attached on one of these 4 consonant stems. So A's are always on the outside of the word circle, and if they're attached on a stem that goes to the outside of the word circle, which the only one is this TH stem, it's inside the stem but outside the word circle. E's, I's, and U's are all in the same position, but I's have a line going towards the center and U's have a line going outwards. And that position is either on the line if it's a stem that crosses the line, so this is again the only stem that crosses the line, I guess this one does too, or inside the center of the stem. So we have this stem that is only inside the word circle, and the E is inside that center of that stem. And then O's are always inside the word circle, and they're like a bead on a string if they're attached on the stem. So this one, which crosses that line, it is only on the inside line. If it were on the outside line, it would look too much like an A, so there's no vowel on the outside line of that stem. So yeah, that is this design. That's how you read the vowels, and the trickiest part. And then punctuation goes on the line of a sentence circle, which is generally a line that goes around the outside of the whole sentence. So you have a bunch of words in a circle, and then you put a circle around that. That's a sentence circle. This design is not typical. It is set up linearly and vertically. So sentence circles are more lines that I put around the outside of specific words. So here we have a hexagon-shaped sentence circle with a semicolon at the end of it after this word. And then here, this is not a sentence circle, it's lines that are coming out from the words, but this guy's kind of like a sentence circle with no punctuation on it. This is a sentence circle here. This is another one of those sentence circles that are hexagons with the lines. But this is very stylistic and very hard to redesign. Let's go ahead and get to it. Here's our first word. You read bottom counterclockwise, which is why we start at the bottom. It starts with a little circle vowel inside the word circle, so that would be an O. And then we continue around here, we have an N because it's got one line coming from a circle inside the word circle. So that is on. Oh, this is also in French. So yeah, it's French Gallifreyan. Yay. So O-N, and then we have this next word. N, again, just like that, N with an E. So ni, I don't know how to say the words in French. And then we have this next word, bottom of the word circles here. This is a vowel consonant team. You read the vowel, the consonant first and then the vowel always. This is another N because it's got one line going anywhere. So this is just an N line here. And then we have the A outside the word circle. And then we have an I, because it's got a line going towards the middle, with a little hat over it, because there's no official way to do that accented I, but I just put the accent over the I. A, good enough. So that's the accented I with the T. Actually, there kind of is an extended accenty thing, but I figured this worked fine. Or let me open up the accent thing. I think I have it saved here. Is it this one? Yeah. No. Not it. That's the wrong one. Is it this one? Yes. Anyway, so there are some accents, except none with the hat. Because there's a dash this way, a dash that way, and an umlaut, but no hat. So I just put a hat over it because that made sense. Anyway, so yay, supplemental keys. Anyway, so there's our N-A-I with a hat, T, and then we have this word here, which is completely inside this word, which is tricky, but you read this one because it's in the line of these guys. It makes sense. We go like this. They're in order. So this is a P because it's got 2 lines ending on a circle inside the word circle. So one line, 2 lines ending on that, and then the A outside the word circle. And this A is tricky because it is both inside this stem and could be an E, but it is outside this word circle and it could be an A. Because I have it touching this word circle here, it kind of solidifies its place as being part of that word, plus context makes it a P-A-S, which is a word in French. So there's our P-A-S word. 1, 2, 3 lines on that S, by the way, these 2 thick lines and that thin line. Yeah, so that is an A, not an E, and that is a tricky vowel because it's inside this. Anyway, here we have our next word. Bottom of the word circles here, we have a deep divot, so we're in this row here, and there's 1, 2, 3 lines ending on it. This thin one, thin one, thin one ending on it. So that would be an F. And then we continue around. Here we have an E on the line of the word circle. And then continue around. Here we have a double line, and a double line is a double letter. And since it's the same thickness of line, it is the same letter twice. Now, looking at this, it's kind of small for a consonant and kind of big for a vowel. And we know it can't be a vowel because the only vowel it could be is an O, which is inside the word circle. And it's got lines. O's don't have lines. And it's got 3 lines. 1, 2, 3 lines. So that is a double M, because 3 lines makes it a double M. And then an E at the end of that. So F-E-double-M-E is our last word in this kind of phrase, because here's that sentence circle, except it's a hexagon around it with on it a double line semicolon. So it's like a stacked period. Anyway, so there's our semicolon. And this is just a decoration continuing around from this M. Here we have our first word of the next kind of phrase. It is another O-N, just like this O-N. And then we have an L-E. E's are on the line of the word circle. L's have 3 dots. And then we have this word. So it's a very similar kind of pattern of 3 words and like linked up together. Bottom of the word circle's here. This is kind of pushing, being the bottom first letter. I'm going to talk about letter order in a complicated way. So, the bottommost letter is not always the first letter you read if there is one in the bottom quadrant on the right side. So if we take our word and divide it in half and then in half again, we first look to anything that crosses this middle line. If anything crosses this middle line, it is the first letter we read. If nothing crosses this middle line, the first quadrant we check is this one, because it would be what you go counterclockwise. If nothing was in this quadrant, then you would go to this one. But there's something here, so we read this first. So this is a deep divot with 3 dots, so that is a D. And then inside that D, there's an E. Then we have a V, because it's got 1 line on it. And then we have an I line going towards the middle. E, and then an N with 1 line ending on it. And then a T at the end of the sentence. Word. This is a word, not a sentence. Okay, so D-E-V-I-E-N-T is our word. And then we have this sentence circle going around it. And these little guys, this could look like a quotation mark because it's 1 line going from a word circle to a sentence circle. But I'm not too worried about it. It makes this pretty, so I put it there, and it gives this one a line to end on, because a quotation mark is a single line going from word circle to sentence circle. But hey, this is a quote, so it's fine to have a quotation mark somewhere. But anyway, here we have our sentence circle with a period on it, 1 open line on it, even though it has lines passing through it. Lines ending and going on to your punctuation don't matter, because you can end lines on sentence circles and they don't do anything. So anyway, there we have our period at the end of this sentence, and then we have our next word, bottom of the word circles here. And in it, our first letter we see is this J, because it's a circle inside the word circle with nothing on it, so that's a J, and then an E on the line of the word circle, so there's your J. And then we have the suis. I can't speak French, but I know je suis is French. 1, 2, 3 lines on this shallow divot, which is an S. And then here we have some vowels, and they make me kind of sad because they are touching this stem. And if they were on the line of the stem fully, they'd begin O. And because they're touching it, they are borderline O's. But they have lines, both of them, so they're both either I's or U's. And they are both. Well, one's an I, one's a U. And we're going to talk about stacked stems that are different thicknesses. So, here we have a stacked stem that is the same thickness. And this is a stacked stem that is 1 thicker and 1 thinner. So, they're 2 different letters. And you read the thin one first and then the thick one. So, this thin one has a line going outwards, making it a U. And this thick one has a line going towards the middle, making it an I. So, S-U-I. And then we have the last S, 1, 2, 3 lines on the S. So, there's your suis for the je suis. And then we have our next word here. Bottom of the word circle's here. So this is one that, even though it is centered in this quadrant, it crosses that 6 o'clock line. So this is our first letter. It's got 3 dots, so that's a D. Then we have an E, V, 1 line on the V, E, N, U. So there's our next word. And then we have this word here, which is our very last word, because this is all just kind of extra crap. So we have a deep divot with 3 dots. So that would be a D, O, continuing around, K, and even though you spell doctor, like, so this is the French doctor word, right, D-O-K, well, D-O-C-T-E-U-R is how you spell doctor in French, But it still goes K. The letter C still goes K in it. So you'd still put a K there because you phonetically use a S or a K depending on what sound the letter C makes for everything except for proper nouns. And this is just, unless it was the name doctor, in which case this is confusing. But only 2 dots would fit here anyway, so I'm going to put 2 dots there to make it a K. I'm sorry about being super rambly in this video, but it should be a K because it goes K. So K, T, then we have an EU, done just like this, UI, because this thin line doesn't have a line ending on it, only this thick one has a line ending on it. And then we have the R with 3 dots. And then we have kind of the sentence circle-y thing here, some extra stuff, and then 3 circles, and these 3 circles look like 3 periods because they're this shape, so that's the dot dot dot, even though this looks like an I without a word circle. Yay. This could be like the word I guess, because it would be a little circle outside the word. But I really wanted these 3 dots to line up with these 3 dots with the line going towards the middle, so they're like a dot 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 because it's a dot dot dot, kind of closest to the sentence circle or on a sentence circle. Yeah. So this is more or less decoration. You can kind of do whatever to this, but yeah. So, oh, and this is all just kind of extra decoration-y sentence circle stuff going around it, helping with the balance. Yeah, this design went more stylistic than legibility. Yay. But it still has all the letters there and all the words there, and it is feasibly readable. I'm going to go through it again one more time really quick. So we have our first word, O-N, N-E, N-A, I with a hat, T, P-A-S, F-E-M-M-E, semicolon, O-N, L-E, bottom, D-E-V-I-E-N-T, period, J-E-S-U-I-S-D-E-V-E-N-U-D-O-K-T-E-U-R, dot, dot, dot. So yeah, that's that design. I'm sorry I got rambling in the video, but yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out.